As I've said many times, it's extremely important that we make absolutely clear that sexual harassment, sexual assault is unacceptable. We take these allegations extremely seriously whenever they come up. Obviously, my thoughts turn immediately to the women who came forward, knowing how difficult it can be, to salute them for their courage and their leadership.
Sexual abuse, sexual harassment, sexual misconduct. Now, that latter term seems to be the one that's thrown around most often when describe the allegations against Patrick Brown. But what does it all mean, especially in the eyes of the law? Well, joining me now to explain is employment lawyer Howard Levitt. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. So
it's a great catch-all expression, isn't it? It even describes a bad date these days, like Aziz Ansari. There's no such thing as sexual misconduct in the eyes of the law. There's battery, there's abuse, there's sexual harassment. I guess sexual misconduct is just an all-encompassing phrase to cover all of that and even more.
Are you finding in recent months workplaces are reacting differently than, say, prior to the Me Too movement? Or has it always been uniform across the board? It just hasn't been so out there?
There's a dramatic sea change in how it's being dealt with right now as opposed to even 6 months ago. 6 months ago, there'd be a long investigation, and the person may or may not be felt to be guilty. Right now, if there's allegations like that are serious, that seem serious on their face, they fire first and ask questions later. That's what I'm generally seeing in the workplace.
So one of the comments that was made by one of the women at the center of this is that if I was in any other field, I would have went to HR. Kind of referring to in politics, she didn't feel like she had anywhere to go. So if someone comes forward in a workplace with allegations of sexual misconduct, what is the onus or the responsibility of HR at that point?
To take immediate steps to investigate it. And these days, everybody's rushing to outside investigators. You don't have to spend money on an outside investigator. HR could do it themselves unless they themselves are in some sort of a conflict. That's what HR is for. And there's got to be policies, and there's got to be settled procedures. Here's what you do when you're the victim of sexual predation. Here's you appeal to. Here's the complaint process. Here's the steps. If you're not satisfied, here are the next steps you can take. And there's got to be repercussions, and quick repercussions. And usually, the person accused leaves the workplace while the investigation's ongoing. That's the reality of the workplace right now.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Howard. That's Howard Levitt with the potential fallout from the Patrick Brown scandal.